Hello and welcome to another video. Today we're looking at a Potterton Gold Combi, which is a 28 kilowatt boiler. Just to give you a history, expansion vessel had gone flat. We advised the customer that we can repair it by replacing the Schrader valve core, but they've requested for the expansion vessel to be changed just to avoid any inconveniences in the future. Plus the PRV is letting by, so we're going to not replace the whole PRV, but we're going to do a repair which involves only replacing the internals of the PRV. This is the spark generator which has been removed from the top inside of the boiler in order to remove the expansion vessel. So these two screws which you can see, one at the front, this one gets removed, one at the back gets loosened up, the bracket gets pulled up and the expansion vessel's removed. This little nut and another retaining nut above this gets undone in order to remove the expansion vessel and change it. The drain valve on the boiler, this usually points downwards. We've pulled it upwards just to make it easier to connect the pipe onto and see what is going on, if it's connected or if it's leaking or anything else. In order to do the repair on this PRV rather than replace the whole thing, we're going to remove or undo this black nut which sits at the front of this PRV. Slightly undo it anti-clockwise and then take it off by completely undoing it with your hand. And in this case, just the spring assembly came out and the seal stayed within the boiler as it's stuck due to rust. So we'll grab a nose plier, a long nose plier, and we'll pull onto the seal, release it and take it off. The grey washer fell off, but this is part of the PRV. So as you can see, the internals of the seal which was sitting inside, it's full of rust. What you can do at this point, you can actually repair rather than replace with new internals. If you're stuck in a position where you haven't got the new PRV with you, what you can do is you can clean properly the rubber seal which sits inside the PRV and put it back with the existing spring assembly, and it normally, say 90% of the times it can hold, it does hold. But if you've got a new PRV, if you come back prepared, you can replace the internals of the PRV. Then it saves you any inconvenience of having any doubts at all. If you're replacing the internals, what you need to do is inside the PRV which is fitted in the boiler, you have to clean this collar which the seal sits on, and as you can see, there is a lot of residual rust coming from the system and sitting in the PRV. You must clean it before you put in the new internals or even reinstate the old ones back. You clean it with a rag, with a tissue, with a cloth inside of it, and then what you do is you grab a flathead screwdriver and the collar where the seal is going to sit on, you clean the surface of it, almost scraping off any rust sitting on it with the screwdriver's flat end. And after you've cleaned the collar, what you have to do is clean the sides of the collar just to take off any residual rust or rust particles which may hinder in the process of you putting it back, the seal back into the PRV. Clean it with a tissue or a rag. Now to new packaging, the PRV which comes in this packaging. This is the part number of the part which you need, which is the complete PRV assembly. You take it out of the pack, and what you will do is you will remove the internals of the new PRV so it can be put into the existing one inside the boiler. So you just undo it anti-clockwise gently with an adjustable spanner. It doesn't need too much force. Take it out completely. In this instance, because it's a new one, it luckily comes out with the seal, everything attached to the spring assembly. And as you can see, compared to the old one, the new one is much cleaner. Old one had a lot of rust on it. Okay, so putting back in the new internals of this part, and you tighten up with your hands first. Always make sure that the thread is freely going as far as it can. Then with the help of this adjustable spanner, very gently, very slightly do up the threads up. Don't go crazy putting too much force on it, because that can cross thread or even damage the threads on this PRV's internals. All right, so once you've tightened it, that is all you need to do to replace it. It's a very simple repair, and always pressurize the system up, check for any leaks. Once you've made sure there are no leaks, turn the boiler on, you do your 26/9 checks, and you make sure everything else is working fine. That is all you need to replace or repair the internals of this pressure relief valve on a Potterton, on a Baxi, or a mains boiler. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.